Hello everyone and welcome back to So What If I Sew, or welcome if you're new. I'm Jess and this is my channel all about sewing, dressmaking and all things stitch related. And first of all, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, whether you did sewing things or not. I hope you had a great time. I am recording this before Christmas because I am going to show you all the things I've made as Christmas presents this year. However, obviously I can't release it till after Christmas, and I've got to give my the presents to my sister today for her to take up to Scotland for my family, because I'm not going up this year. Now, firstly, I apologise if you can hear any noise in the background. There is a building site that has sprung up next to us. Somebody's getting their roof sorted in an office block next to where I live, and they have no regard for any form of sound. So I do apologise if you can hear that noise. Hopefully you can't. So let's have a chat. Now, firstly, I want to talk a little bit about making Christmas presents. Now, I have never made Christmas presents like in this way before. I made pyjamas for people last year, but obviously pyjamas take 2 minutes. So I'd never really made like complex stuff for people's presents. And I've come to two very important realisations. Firstly, I really don't like sewing for other people. That sounds terrible, but I really don't. It's really stressful because you're super worried. The thing is, when it's for you, if you make a mistake, it's annoying, but it's fine. Whereas when you make it for somebody else and you make a mistake, it's infinitely more stressful, and there's just, I don't know, they put so much stress on the process. So not a big fan of sewing for other people. However, happy to do it given my second realisation. I am only ever, and please keep me accountable to this lovely sewing community, I am only allowed to make a maximum of 2 Christmas presents. This year I attempted 5 and I've actually managed 4. Which is way too many. Way too many, especially when I have a much sooner deadline before Christmas to get stuff to people. So the one present I haven't managed this year is a shirt for my dad, which I'm going to be making for his birthday in April instead. He doesn't know what he's getting, but again, hoping he's super busy and won't watch this, sorry. So I bought all the fabric and everything for that, and I cut it out in one of my Vlogmas videos, but it was too dark in the living room and I didn't notice until I got it out the next day in the light that I'd actually cut everything wrong, and like I'd cut things with the wrong side up, and I'd cut some of the pieces squinted because it was checked fabric. It was horribly noticeable, and lots of pieces just weren't usable. Honestly, I think at this point that was my 5th present I was making, and I was feeling so stressed and way too much that I screwed it up, let's be honest. However, I am going to make it for his birthday. I'm going to get more fabric, and out the fabric for him, I can't make anything man-sized unfortunately, but I can probably get a little pair of pyjamas for myself, I think. So, you know, silver lining. However, I did manage to make 4. One of which was an Eden coat. So, you know, I didn't exactly make things easy for myself. Let me show you what I got up to and what I have actually successfully made. Garment number 1 on my list is for my middle sister Natasha, and she lives normally, although this year is a bit of an exception, she normally lives in Australia. So she wanted a cosy dressing gown that wouldn't be too hot and thick and everything to wear in Australia, so she can wear it in the winter and spring and autumn there. Probably can't really wear anything in the summer where she lives, but you know, something she could wear there and here and that would be really cosy. So I already had a pyjama and dressing gown pattern that's the Simplicity 1563A, I believe. It's definitely 1563. I'll post it below. But I had never made the dressing gown, and I've made it even more difficult for myself. Now, that dressing gown and actually everything in that pattern is fantastic because you can make it with any fabric you like. And I chose, thinking, you know, of my sister and where she lives and what she needs, but what you want from a dressing gown, I decided to go with the softest viscose jersey I've ever felt in my life. And Tasha particularly asked, she said, can I have a terracotta or like a rust colour? And I was having a nightmare finding fabric, but Steph from the rag shop obliged, and here we are. So I'm really quite proud of this. Even though it's the first one I've ever made, it is honestly, it's the softest fabric I've ever felt in my life. As you can see, so lightweight, the drape is fantastic, and I'll pop it on. The tie is here separate because I keep fretting that I'm not going to wrap it, so I put it separately. But I'll show you guys just the top on. So here we go, it's a little bit bigger than me. However, it's a really cozy, comfy fit. She explicitly said she wanted a really big size so she could be all snug and wear stuff under it if she wanted to. So it's got an interfaced, I don't know what you'd call that, it's almost like a placket here. And then basic thrown on sleeves that are the square shape there. And it is a super easy pattern. I'd really recommend it to beginners. I actually think I'm going to make myself one, and my other sister's also requested one. But there is at least a 3-month embargo on me making anyone any presents except my dad. So there we are. But it's got dressing gown loops, and it also has pockets, which we love. We love a pocket. And I'm really proud of this. So very snug, very cozy, and I hope she loves it. Number 2 and 3 are both for my mum, because my mum is the most difficult person in the world to buy presents for. But this year she made it easy by requesting something, and then I suggested something else. She went, oh yes, make me that. So option 1 for her present is these pyjama bottoms that I have made her. Nice, cozy, simple. The fabric is stunning. It's this really lovely coral jersey with a black spot, which colours mum really suits and she likes. And it's from SewSewSew. It was a remnant actually because I loved it, and she had like 2 meters of it left, which is perfect. Funny story about these. So I'm 5'2". Both my sisters are like 5'3", and my mum is 5 foot. So she's tiny and she's wonderful, but this pattern I found incredibly long for me and for my sisters. I already had to take I hemmed mine by like 2 inches and they still drag on the floor. So knowing mum was shorter than me, I was like, right. I asked her, I was like, do you want a longer leg? And she was like, no, I want them to like fit to my foot. So I had to cut like 4 inches off the bottom of these, which is hilarious. So I really hope she loves them. I've done them without a tie because I didn't have anything that I thought would go well with it as a tie. It's really hard to find stuff to make trouser ties out of, but I've done it with a nice broad elastic so it can be comfortable, and I've done it a little bit looser as she requested. So very excited for her to try on these. Present 3 you guys will be familiar with by now on my channel, but it's the Size Me Sewing Florence Boxy tee. Now this is exactly the same as mine, except the sleeves are fractionally longer. It's hilarious because basically this was a dream present to make actually, because I just made myself one and then mum messaged me and went, I'll have one of those please. And I went, okay, fine. So nice, easy, simple sew. The fabric is from Sew Anonymous, same as last time. Tilly in the buttons, jumbo spot jersey, and I'm really quite proud of it actually. I think she's gonna love it. The hem is slightly... The one thing you should be aware of actually with Tilly in the buttons fabric is that it's white underneath. Now, you don't think that's a problem until you use like an over edge stitch and it brings a little bit of white through with it. So really, I didn't think this through at all. Really be careful when you're sewing with this jersey. It's wonderful to sew with, but that's just a little caveat for you. And my final gift, the one I know everyone has been waiting to see, is my eldest sister's Eden coat. Now I'm actually incredibly proud of this, although it has to be said I made mistakes on this that never even occurred like remotely on the original, on my coat. Luckily none of them are visible, but I just have a moment of just going, really? Mine was pretty plain sailing and the one that happens to be a present has issues. Drove me absolutely mad. So here we go, I'll try it on for you so you can see. Ollie requested a bigger size because she likes to wear big jumpers and stuff under her coat, so it's a little bit bigger than mine. But it is this lovely Palma violet wax cotton from Croft Mill. The notions, snaps, poppers, zip etc. are all from Jaycott and they're prim consumer. And here is the beautiful lining, which is a viscose from SewSewSew. I'm really proud of this coat. I really am. I think she is going to adore it. It's one of the most difficult things I've ever made. It was a lot more difficult than mine, I think partially as well because the fabric's much lighter and black doesn't show mistakes the same way this stuff does. So I really hope she's gonna love it. I definitely took notes from making my coat and I've learned a lot doing this. There's things I did differently on this one that I think work better. Like there's some of the ways I transferred the markings were different. However, one thing I will say is if you're a beginner and you're going to take the plunge and do the Eden coat, do not use a viscose lining. I'm sorry, I love you as a beginner, you're wonderful, but don't put yourself through that. It was one of the most stressful things I've ever had to do because this is so solid and this moves everywhere. So in my coat, it took me 1 go to do the bagging out, as in like stitching all the way around and pulling through. It took me 6 goes on this because the hood, the viscose and the outer coat would not stay still, and obviously I'm not able to pin this, so I used big clips to do it, which helped. But oh my days, that was like oh, I threw it across the room like twice. I got so angry sewing this. But one of the real massive pluses is you will notice my studs are in very neatly because I got my prim pliers in time to put them on, and it has to be said, the pliers are fantastic. The prim pliers are wonderful. The stuff the snaps come with to put them on is the most useless contraption I've ever used in my life, but my god are the pliers good. So if you are looking to invest in something, it's not even an investment, it's like 15 quid, get a pair of the pliers, you will not regret it, they're so good. So here it is, I'm really proud. I think she's going to absolutely love it. Here it is, put the hood up so you guys can see. There's like, the hood is a lot sharper, as are like the edges and everything on this, because I really did learn my lesson. So I'm super excited to give it to her and I hope she loves it. So when I show all those presents to you guys this time, it doesn't feel like that much and I feel a bit silly for getting so stressed about it. But actually, the thing is, I think about sewing presents, and particularly sewing for other people, is that it takes a lot of mental pressure. Because the thing is, when you sew your own clothes, there's mistakes you live with and you're just like, whatever, that's part of it. And there's mistakes you go, oh well, I learned from that, so it's fine. But when you're giving it to other people, you don't want to give your mistakes to other people. And particularly, like, Ollie's coat was the most technically difficult. However, I'd made it before. So if I'm honest, actually, Ollie's coat was, apart from the slight incident with the attaching hood, lining and body of the jacket, which I will never do again, or at least it's gonna be a few years before I do it again, I didn't actually look at the instructions because I've done it once, I knew what I was doing, I checked a couple of seam allowances, but that was it. So that was actually stressful, but not as stressful. Probably the most stressful thing was Tasha's dressing gown, because that viscose jersey is so light, and the issue is that is a full length dressing gown. That goes full to like ankle. So it was quite frustrating because it slips and slides everywhere, and obviously I'm pinning, like every single pin I own has been in that dressing gown, but it was still quite, I had to unpick a lot and it was quite frustrating. However, it was very quick, so I think what I might do is invest in a walking foot, because I'd like to sew with that weight of jersey again, and I would like to make myself one and my other sister one, but not with the current feet I have. So, you know, there's that. Yes, I am very, very upset that I didn't manage to do my dad's present. I'm even more upset that I messed up the fabric. But I've learnt a lot from it, and regardless of how easy or how simple it feels, I will never sew more than 2 presents in a year, like for one occasion ever again, because it's just too much. It's just one of those things, I think. But I'm really, really proud of what I have made. I really hope they enjoy them. I can't be with them for this Christmas, so I can't see them open them. However, hopefully by the time you see this, I will have seen them on Facebook or Instagram, or hopefully on a video call on the day, and I hope they love them. Now I'm going to wrap them all up, so I will leave you guys now. Have a wonderful rest of your Christmas holidays. I will be back shortly to show you what I actually got for my Christmas, in terms of sewing gifts, of course. I'm not just going to show you things. And I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year, and I will see you very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching and for joining me.